Welcome back to LifeWave Deep Dive with Jane, and this is number 11. And this is a fun one. This is a longer one, and this is probably the basis of all everything that we talk about. And you probably ask, well, why do you put at number 11? Because I like you to understand the benefits of all X39, what it does first, and how to keep track of it. And then we are circling back to, well, why lights, right? And so by this time you have better understanding of what X39 is all about already. And now we gonna understand how does it work. So why light? So let's dive into it. This one should be a fun one to do. And again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not here to teach. I'm just here to not educate, share with you information that makes sense for me. And this is the whole thing with the episode is what makes sense to me. And I feel like if it does make sense to me, I can repeat it to you guys. Then it would makes it easier for you to understand. It took me a while to get to the part of understanding, and I'm still learning understanding all this stuff. So why light? So understanding the photobiomodulation. If this is a term that if you're just a user, you may not use it all. If you're a brand partner, you're going to hear that a lot. You'll hear David talk about it. You hear leaders training about it. But at the end, is it a big word that you need to remember? No, because at the end of the day, it's about sharing this with somebody you love, and you come across and you're sitting across the table and you're talking about how X39 works and why light. So how is light become the foundation of our technology? Light, so let's go back to the basic. Light is part of everyday life. I mean, long before anybody studied in the lab, light was already shaping everybody's lives, right? I mean, we wake up to sunlight. Our body system is automatically work on this rhythm of light and darkness. I mean, the plants grow in the light. If you keep the plants in the dark room, it die. So quietly, these lights has become it's a part of our life. It's nothing new. It's not something that new that we introduced to it. It's something that we've been living alongside all of it for a long, long time. Light does more than um, help us see. We usually think of light as simply kind of light up the room and help you see when it's in the dark or when it's darkness. But light is energy. It's really real. It's measurable energy travel in waves. And living things respond to the energy constantly. Plant use it to grow, photosynthesis. Our body use it to, like I said, to reset our body cyclic. What is the term again? Um, Circadian rhythm. And that's when you wake up, you go to sleep. It's active. Life has been responding to this light for a long, long time because light carries energy. But the scientists began to ask an important question. Could different kind of lights interact with living tissue in a different way? So that led us to one of the greatest scientists of all, Albert Einstein. So Einstein and the photoelectric effect. In 1905, Einstein showed that light doesn't just travel in waves. He believes that it's like a tiny individual package of energy. That discovery earned him the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics. His work helped change the scientific understanding of light by showing that it also behaved in this tiny, tiny packages of energy called photons. Is this something that you need to know and understand? No, but I thought it's fun for us to have an understanding a little bit. So this part of deep dive will go into a little bit more of the science part, just for fun, and because why not? So what is photon? I mean, this bring me back to what chemistry in high school or college. I I think it's chemistry. I haven't used that word or heard that word in a long time. But what is photon? Photon is simplest, the smallest possible package of light. Think of lights as not one continuous beam, but as a stream of tiny individual of energies, one after another, right? One proton equal one package of light. And that really is proton is all about. No complicated math required. It's just real units of light's energy that travel at the speed of light. We heard that before, at the speed of light. I mean, light is the fastest thing that travel. So in the beginning, I used the word photobiomodulation. What is that? What does that mean? It sounds complex, right? But if you break it down, photo is light, bio is life, modulation. When I say it together, it's fine, but I broke it down, it's impossible. Influence or adjustment. So when you put it simple together, using certain wavelengths of light to interact with living tissue, photobiomodulation. That's a big word for me. It took me a while to learn that. This isn't science. The field isn't new science. It is science. The field has been long well documented for actually longer than 1905. I believe in thousands of years in the Rome history and everything else, they used lights back then, but it's not really documented. So the 1905 is when Einstein published the electric effects. 1960, first working laser. 1967, Dr. Nestor begins early research. 1980s to today, thousands of published studies to starting to study more into lights and its benefits. So some example that we already accept, and we all know, if you are parents, you know this really well, term jaundice, right? This is when the newborn are born and their skin is yellow. So they're usually preemie. They have to keep the baby in this blue lights for a while to get the body, to keep this lights, the body for the baby, so they can start absorbing the light, because you can't take the baby out to the sunlight. It's like a sunlight, but it's low grade of blue lights that help with the newborn dealing with the jaundice. And dental curing lights. I think if you go to the dentist, you already seen some of this procedure being done to you. Laser eye procedures. This was freaky when I first learned about it. God, how many years ago? This is in the 90s, I think late 90s and mid 90s, when they first introduced LASIK, laser eye procedure to correct your eyesight. And that was pretty cool. I think I had procedure done to my eye years ago before the LASIK. I should have waited, because I think that was a better technology. But I'm not regretting, because the result was really phenomenal. Now, this is red light therapy. This is something that you cannot go to a wellness center or a wellness spa, or even a fitness center, without seeing a red light therapy or infrared light sauna. There's so many of them here where I live. It's you just pick and choose which one fit your budget and fit your schedule better on what you like. And you can also buy this mat and on Amazon, or things like that. You can buy masks, a red light mask that you can wear and kind of stimulates things. So red light therapy works. It's been around for so many years now. How convenient it is for you to use, that's a different story. And how much do you have to spend? Again, that's a different story. So what researchers study is for decades have explored into the different wavelengths of light that interact with biological tissue. And that is publishing their finding in the peer reviews journal along the way. So here's something that you can look up. This is an active ongoing area of research. Is searchable today in the PubMed in the U.S. National Library of Medicine database of biomedical literature. So, a lot of people wants to know if things is measurable or if there's been peer review. You hear that a lot. So this is light wavelength of light has been published a lot in the peer review itself. So there's different wavelength of lights. I think mostly people have seen the red and the blue more than anything else, right? The lights come in a whole different spectrum. And some we see and some we don't see. We hear about UV light, which is the purple of it. Some, of the, there's two ranges, red and near infrared. And the one the most often studied in the photobiomodulation research. Different wavelengths of lights behave differently. And that's why when you have baby with jaundice, you use blue lights. And I'm not a scientist and I don't know what effect that makes it different, but I just know that they use the blue one for the baby for dealing with the jaundice. And then of course we use the red infrared lights externally to help with a lot of healing, cosmetics, or things like that. And of course, you have UV light. So it's all this spectrum of lights. They're some visible and some are not visible. So why does matter? Once you see light as a form of energy, the bigger pictures open up, right? Lights isn't something that help us see the world. It is a sort of energy that living system interact with the same way that they interact with warmth, movement, and sound. So lights as energy, and it's not as illumination, not as to bright up the room for you so you can see. It is a real form of energy. So the question that inspired innovations, as the scientists continue to learn about different wavelengths of light, and this is something that our founder have asked. I think what I come to admire about inventor is they don't just ask questions, they ask questions that help them help others. It's like to invent a practical kind of question, right? Could this science be applied in practical way of helping people? And so that's when something that, researchers that's come around, engineer, physician, inventor, have explored in all different possibility. And, some develop into a laser, some create light therapy device, and each researchers come into a different path and then give it a different benefits. So our inventor asks a different questions. Of course, this is why we admire him so much. And his question is, could the body on lights become part of the answer? And this question simply led him on years of research into lights, advanced wearable technology. LifeWave has been around now 20 plus years. Over time, that works evolved into wearable lights technology that become the foundation of LifeWave. So our David Schmidt he's always an inventor first. He held multiple US patents over 200 by now. And then he's the founder, CEO of LifeWave. So we really look up to his research and understanding of the body, of the aging, age reversal a lot. I mean, whether somebody choose to use LifeWave or not, understanding the way David asked the question might help explain how the technology different from many other wellness approach. And that might help people understand, okay, well, if lights work this way, and this is a wearable lights, and that, it can influence the body energies in our body, then, it make a lot more sense for people to try, right? Where LifeWave fits in. David research eventually became the foundation of LifeWave wearable technology. This technology was designed to reflect specific wavelengths generated by the body back into the skin. It is an application of light science. That we walk through it and then not replacing it, and not to claim to outperform it either. It's just different way of using lights. It's reflect our own body lights back through the skin. And again, this is a patch that looks like this, and I'm sure you've seen it or you're using it already. And it's just simple. You just peel and stick and go on about your day. So why this approach is different, and we talk about this again, is this not a pill that you swallow. It's not a cream that you have to apply. It is a patch. It's simple patch, and you just peel. It's not a substance base. It's a light base. It's no chemicals, no drugs, nothing enter our body. And so it's not to say that one is better than the other. It's a different approach. It's depending where you want to do, what is your goal is. So we are just another tool for you to have an option to talk about. So key takeaway, right? Light is real, is measurable energy. This is established by physics many, many, many years ago. And photobiomodulation is genuine. It is, again, been studied in the scientific field for years. Researchers have studied this, documented well back in the 1960s. I remember David talk about, this is years ago, if we were to talk about lights therapy, maybe 40 years ago, it's something that scientifically not really found of or trusted. But nowadays, we talk about light therapy, infrared light in the last 10 years. This is something that is being a lot more researched and well accepted that it does work. And that's why you have many different tools that using the light therapy to kind of enhance your body um, energies level. And so LifeWave is just representing one of the modern technology or tool that utilize lights. So resources, this is some the reference that I research on. So, you can go ahead and look that up and, read more if you like more information about the sign itself. So coming up next is how LifeWave technology used light, right? We'll take a closer look of how LifeWave applied this scientific principle into its wearable technology. So again, thank you so much for being with me today, and we'll see you in the next episode.